Hi, I am Eleftheria. I'm a front-end developer and I'm working as an app developer, and this is going to be my first time speaking at International Women's Day for Warri. Thank you very much for the invitation, Martha and Charles, and I'm really excited to start with my talk. Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. So, we started a little bit late, so please just stay on the line. Be on standby. Once I set up, I'll buzz you.
Okay.
Alright, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
She's joining us from Greece. So she's going to be sharing on our journey in school technology. So let's give Ellie a big hand. All right, Ellie.
Thank you.
Proceed.
Okay, first let me share my screen. I don't know, do you see the presentation now? Can you see the presentation? Okay, great. So thank you very much first of all for the invitation, and I was looking forward for this event. I don't know, I can hear my voice twice, but I guess I don't know if you hear me very well. Okay, can I continue? Okay, great. As I've already mentioned, my name is Eleftheria. I know it's a kind of difficult to be pronunciated, but in my country it means freedom, so I guess it's kind of cool. Now if you cannot call me Eleftheria, you can just call me Ellie. It's fine, I don't mind. And I'm a front-end developer. I'm working as an app developer, and I've graduated from an engineering university. Now, although I did graduated from an engineering university, I didn't have a lot of classes and a lot of courses about developing languages like C, C++, Java, and then of course JavaScript and all these kind of beautiful things. So, as soon as I've graduated from my university, I knew that I wanted to work as a front-end developer, and I did an internship in Amsterdam. This internship was about 3 months, and in this 3 months I knew that I wanted to find a job, and I knew that I wanted to be back in my country. Now the problem was that I didn't have a portfolio, I didn't have a lot of knowledges. I felt that in my internship I wasn't learning a lot of things, and then on top of all this I was looking at the details or the descriptions for job offerings, and everyone wanted so many things. They wanted you to know like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, PHP, even Java and C and C++, and they wanted you to have a lot of experience, and you know, all those crazy kind of things that a new person cannot have them. So I decided that at least I could try to develop myself, and at least I could build my own portfolio and try to build some knowledges on the things that I was most interested in. And since I knew that I wanted to work as a front-end developer, the only thing that I could think of was to be better at HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So the next thing I knew was, yeah guys, 100 days of code. And how did I learn that? Well, every day I read articles. This is something that I used to do, and it's something that I do even today. And one of those days, I read an article that it was written by the creator of this challenge, 100 Days of Code, Alexander Callaway. And he was saying how important it is to code every day and to try to develop yourself and your skills and try to build something. So the next thing I knew was challenge accepted, and that was it. From that day on, I started coding every single day, and the rules that I followed, they were very simple. I would code for 1 hour at least every day, no matter what, and I would code like whatever I wanted to code. I'm going to share a few things about that later. Now, the other thing that I was doing every single day was uploading my code on GitHub and also on Codeban if that was possible, and sharing a link on Twitter. And actually at first I wasn't using Twitter at all. I was very shy, but then I started using it more and more, and I tried to connect with people over there, and sometimes I was asking for feedback or sometimes I was giving feedback, and I saw that a lot of people are actually quite interested on my work and they wanted to learn more. So as I was connecting with more people, they started asking me, what do I code? How do I start coding? Where do I find sources? And you know, most of the times, because all these people are students, and back then I was also a student, like I had graduated but I felt like a student because I was still learning. We usually want free stuff, and believe me, over the internet there are good sources that are for free. So my advice is here is to search from some online educational platforms, and here I mean search for Udemy, Udacity, FreeCodeCamp, Skillshare, Pact. They have free courses. Just read the description and see if this is something that interests you, and if it is, then don't think too much, just do it. Then another thing is YouTube. On YouTube there are so many incredible channels. Sometimes they have the levels from the things that they want to educate the others. So if you are a beginner, try to find something for beginners. If you are more advanced, then try to find something for more advanced people. Now, there are some great online communities, and by that I mean communities like Code Newbie, communities like 301 Days of Code, and I don't know, you can always find something. Just Google online communities for developers, and I'm sure you will have a lot of results, and some of them will be applicable to you and in your cases and in the things that you want to build. Now, another thing that I really believe is coding challenges, and this is something that has helped me tremendously. I did start it from 100 Days of Code, but that wasn't the only thing that I did. I also worked with 300+1 Days of Code. I worked with daily CSS images. I worked with 30 days, 30 sites. So as you can imagine, I did a lot of challenges, and I have to say that they really helped me. Now, the last thing, for resources, I would suggest reading magazines and books. There are free online, and for magazines I would suggest Medium, which is the greatest place for me. You can read everything there. And for books, for example, for if you want to be a JavaScript developer, then I would suggest the Eloquent JavaScript. It is a great book. Now, as far as it concerns inspiration, I would suggest you again to read blogs, forums, and follow your favorite publications on Medium, or follow your favorite developers on their blogs, and all those kind of things. And also, it's really important to go to meetups and conferences, and I know that you already do that because you're here. Okay, let's keep going. The other thing that I wanted to share with you is what exactly did I wanted to learn on those 100 days. So my goal was to get better at HTML, CSS and JavaScript, and keep working on my knowledges in more, let's say, modern things like Flexbox, Less, Sass, and sometimes even Bootstrap and JavaScript. Now, another thing that I was thinking and I still think it's really important is the console and the developer tools. I was seeing other developers working always with the developer tools and always they had opened their console, but I was afraid to use that. So I said to myself that in that 100 days I would try to, every time that I had a bug or I didn't know something, I would try to find it in the developer tools or by using the console and just be more familiar with debugging. Another thing that I wanted to be better at was, or actually to learn from scratch, was a framework, and I decided to learn AngularJS and then a data visualization library, and that one was G3JS. I'm going to show you examples of my work, and actually we can start with that. So as I've mentioned, one of my first goals was to be better at CSS and HTML, and I did that by being in this challenge, the daily CSS images and all of those things that you see are built only with CSS and nothing else. So at first everything was really simple, but then I continued trying to build some things like a little bit more complicated. I continue with JavaScript, and this is an example of free code camp. And then I also continue with some other games. Again, these are from Free Code Camp. I really like games. I'm not playing them too much, but I like coding them. I find it really interesting. And then I started experimenting with Angular, and more particularly with AngularJS. I first built some small things, and then I tried to build some more, let's say, advanced things. The same went with G3JS. First I built some pretty simple stuff, but then I continue with more and more advanced things. Okay, let's close that part of the things that I built, and let's keep going with a question that I get a lot from people from time to time, and which is what motivates me or what inspires me. And to be honest, for me it's the urge of getting better and advancing, but for you maybe it's something completely different, and of course that's totally fine. We all have different inspirations and aspirations, we will different things. For me, just this urge to be better. Okay, now let's go to two quotes that I really like and I really enjoy. The first one that, I don't know, maybe not all the people will agree with me, but it's by Tim Ferriss, and it says, "You are the average of the 5 people you are most associated with." And what does this mean is that, for example, if you are surrounded with other developers and you hear all the amazing stuff that they build, then most probably you will also want to build something great. But if you are with people that are not like so energetic, they are bored, they are feeling tired all the time, then I'm afraid that most probably you will start feeling like that. So be careful with who you're associated with. The next quote that I really like is by Art Williams, and it says, "I'm not telling you it's going to be easy, but I'm telling you it's going to be worth it." And this is another quote that I really stand by. I know that coding is hard. It was hard, and always it will be hard. But we are not here for the easy stuff. We are here for the difficult stuff, and we are going to do it. Maybe you wake up too early in the morning to code, or you stay really late at night again to code. That's fine. That's great. That's how you progress. It will be hard, but you are going to do it. Okay, let's keep going with some tips and tricks. I'm going to share 5 of them. I actually have a lot of tips that I try to follow myself or just, share them, but I'm going to stick to 5 of them. The first one, and maybe the most important one, is setting up your goals and your priorities. Your goals and priorities may change through time, and that's totally fine, but stick to them and define them. Try to have them realistic. Say, in 1 week I will do that, in 2 weeks I will have done with that. Don't say in 1 year I might have done that. That's wrong. Be very specific with your goals. Now, the other thing is finding your motivation. I've already talked about my motivation, and maybe for you it's something completely different. As you've already said, that's totally okay. Just find your motivation and try to stick to it as much as possible. But now the problem is that motivation will eventually faint, but what stays forever is determination. And I believe that, for example, me personally, I'm a very determined person. If I have something on my mind, I will do it no matter what. You should also be very determined. Have in your mind your goal, stay focused on that, and you will do it. Let's keep going with time management. I know that this one is super tricky, and I hear a lot of people say, oh yes, I want to do that, but I don't have the time to do that. But guess what? We all have 24 hours. Now, each one of us work differently in these 24 hours. Just take an hour for yourself. Maybe if you're living with your family, let them know that you need 1 hour to develop some skills. If you think 1 hour is, for example, too much and you cannot concentrate it on that, then yeah, you can use the Pomodoro Techniques. And if you're not familiar with it, it basically says like for 20 minutes or 25 minutes you will be working super concentrated, and then you will take 5 minutes break. You will repeat that 3 times, and voila, you have your 1 hour. Another very good tip here is to have your phone in silent or in airplane mode, and of course not having near you, because every time you get distracted you will just grab your phone, but that's wrong. Just have your phone in another room. That will help, trust me. Last but not least, keep a to-do list. A to-do list will help you to be more organized, and it will help you with your daily tasks or your weekly tasks. Write everything that you have to do, and in that way this will also help in time management. This is also a very good point, because after some time you maybe want to go back and see the things that you have achieved, so it will be very easy to just go back in your calendar or in your to-do list. An extra tip here would be to keep your calendar or to-do list like really simple. The simpler the better. I know that online there are hundreds or thousands of free to-do lists, but for me personally, I believe that the best one is just pen and paper, and that's it. We are almost done with this presentation, but I would like to mention a few of the things that I gained. So the first thing that I gained, the first thing that I learned, was to be more optimistic and grateful for the people that I have near me, and for the projects that I built through the time. Then of course I got better at time management, and I met a lot of great people that I've never believed that I would met. Most of them were online, but again, it was great. I learned to believe in myself and in my powers. And then another great thing that happened to me, and again I never believed that it would have happened, was that I traveled a lot. And again, some people ask me, oh yeah, and how did you travel? How are those things, developing and traveling, connected? Well, they totally are, because there are conferences in all over the world, and sometimes you can get the tickets for the conference, and maybe even the flight tickets and the accommodation for free if you have to suggest something to that conference. And this is how I traveled. Now, what am I currently doing? Because all those things that I'm talking about started like 2 or 3 years ago, but I'm still in my coding journey. This journey, I don't think that it will never end, because I always want to be better and develop myself. So I work as a developer, as I've already mentioned, but I'm also doing a master's in graphical arts and multimedia. I'm doing that part-time and online, and I also freelance as a content creator for Pocket Publishing, and I used to do that for Skillshare as well. Sometimes I write articles on Medium. I would love to write even more. And also sometimes I create online videos, educational videos or tutorials, and I upload them on my YouTube account. Last part, would I recommend signing up on a challenge like 100 Days of Code? Totally yes. If you want to get better, to achieve your goals, to meet new people, to see like other places, then heck yeah, just do it. Believe in yourself, be persistent, be consistent and determined, and you will do it. I can guarantee you that. Always track your progress and your daily or weekly goals. Don't get easily disappointed. Be grateful yet humble for all the things and all the people that you have near you. Try to help others and also share your knowledge. Thank you very much, guys. I hope that you enjoyed that presentation, and if you have any question, just ask me. You can always find me either on my email or on Twitter. I've also my Instagram and YouTube. You can also find me there. I hope that you liked that presentation, and yeah, just if you have any question, just ask me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Ellie, for joining us. And from everyone here, what do we say to Ellie? All right, thank you, Ellie.
Thank you, bye.
All right, bye.
Thank you for having me and that great day about women. I really enjoyed that.